Is it okay to go to two different churches when you get married? Because maybe his church is a bit traditional and the tongue-speaking sister. Hi, it's a girl Red Rose Elba missionary, and I like to start by saying that I was a Zulu, but some dude from somewhere put a ring on it, and I'm now Rosemary Peary, and I would like to welcome you to the BBC, which is Beauty with Brains and Character for the ladies, and for the gents we call it Bravery with Brains and Character. So basically, we believe that it's possible for one to have the beauty, the brains, and the character, or to have the bravery, the brains, and the character, because we strongly understand that your beauty, your bravery, your brains can pretty much take you before any influential person. You know, the Bible says your gift will make room for you, but it's actually your character that will sustain your elevation, or the duration, or will determine the duration of your elevation. So today is an exciting day. As usual, always an honor to do ministry with this deep dude out here. So let me let him introduce himself.
Name's Gabriel Asikanawa Piri, aka a missionary Gabby GP, and I am the husband to this BBC chick right over here.
Great. So welcome to my show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, such
Pleasure
an
to be
honor
here.
to have you. I want to say that, you know, the reason why we called you here on set to answer all the questions that the ladies have. For your own information, we had over 50 questions, so we tried as much as possible to sort of, you know, put them together and so on. You know, the reason why we brought you here is not because you're just my husband, you know what I mean, but because, you know, I understand that you have a lot of experience where, you know, mentoring young couples, married people on relationships is. All right, and beyond that, you know, you've written a book, Mastering the Dynamics of Love Relationships.
That's it.
You know what I mean? You know, I don't know if you're a master of relationships, so obviously I know I'm a beneficiary, but, you know, do you want to tell us a bit
I'm
about
a student.
do you want to tell us a bit about your book, in case
Yeah.
you know, people are watching us for the very first time?
I said Mastering the Dynamics of Love Relationships is basically your passport to a healthy love relationship, because it gives you all the nuggets that put you in the right frame of mind when it comes to dealing with all the drama that comes with relationships. Yeah, you can pick it up from mandahillpost.net. Just walk in there, tell them I'm asking for the love relationships book, you know, by Gabby
good.
GP. It's 100 kwacha only.
And for more nuggets, you can like his page, Gabby
Like
GP.
my page, Gabby GP Album Missionary on Facebook. Inbox me and then we can chat.
Great. So once again, thank you so much. I understand that you have a lot of things to do. You're a busy man, and just sitting down with me and answering over 50.
Not too busy for my wife.
Thank you so much. You know, answering, you know, over 50 questions. You know what I mean? Like, after a long day, then I grab you. You know, I ask you. You know what I mean? It takes someone who really, beyond believing in their wives, you know, their wife. You know, it takes a man who believes that they have a role to play to help their sort of wife to fulfill their God-given assignment. So I don't want to take that lightly, but just to appreciate you in front of the camera, you know, and I want to sort of assure you that, you know, your life will never be the same. So if you feel that we haven't answered your question fully, you know, feel free to inbox me again, and we'll be able to maybe do a bonus video, you know, so that you can see how we move. Great. So we start with this question, which goes, what's wrong with referring to your dude as sir?
Nothing wrong. Why not? I think if my wife wants to call me sir, you know, that feels nice. Unless, of course, your dude has expressed concerns about you calling him that. I do not know why somebody would detest that, but you never know. People have all sorts of reasons. So if he has communicated that he does not appreciate you using that phrase on him, then don't,
Okay.
because that's his communication. But
That's
otherwise,
his preference.
yeah. Otherwise, ask him how he would prefer to be addressed.
Yeah.
It's always good to get it from the horse's mouth.
Very important.
Otherwise, I do not have any reservations whatsoever.
Okay. And is it okay to go to 2 different churches when you get married? Because maybe his church is a bit traditional and your tongue-speaking sister.
Another sticky subject there. A lot of people have different opinions, the different schools of thought around that. My general advice is you want to make sure that you are feeding from the same plate, because sometimes, and I underline sometimes, when you are feeding from 2 different sources, it's possible for somebody to pick something that they're not meant, because there are a lot of funny teachings nowadays that are going around. So, especially when you are aiming to build, you don't want some funny doctrine coming from Fire on the Mountain ministries or Chase the Devil ministries or something like that, trying to destabilize the peace in your home. So in order for you to avoid all of that confusion, you want to just agree on the one local church that all of you are going to commit to. It always helps in your communication, helps in your bonding, because then you're spending time together, serving God in the same space. If you have to be in different churches, there must be a very good reason why you have to be in different churches. The whole traditional church component is not really, it should not be the crux of the matter, it should not be the issue, unless there are other very critical doctrinal issues, that interfere with your spiritual growth, interfere with your marriage, your fellowship, and so on and so forth. But our general advice is, if you're able to be in the same place, it's always better for the marriage relationship.
Okay. All right. So I like the fact that if it's a traditional church, doesn't interfere with your faith, right?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So I don't want someone to get excited to say, I go to this traditional church just for just. Like at the end of the day, we'll be accountable for the church we go to, right?
That's it. Depending on what they're properly.
Yes, depending. Yes. So you want to make sure that whatever they're teaching you is Bible based.
That's it.
So that if you die and you're held accountable, you should be able to defend yourself. That I followed scripture, and I believe that they were following everything that is written in the Word of God. Great. So how do you handle misunderstandings when he doesn't want to talk about them and he doesn't want to involve anyone else to help out?
Wow, that's another sticky one. Because obviously, sometimes during altercations in love relationship, you find that maybe because somebody is still in that zone where they are still distraught by what you said, what you did, they are in that zone. They don't want to get other people involved. The best is to give them the space, until such a time that they are able to have a cordial conversation around the issue. And then you bring up subject, because obviously if you are the one that was in the wrong, you want to make sure that you do what you have to do in order for you to create the peace. Seek forgiveness and ask them how they want you to make amends, etc. But if it gets to a place where the misunderstanding is still becoming very toxic, then you must insist on seeking help.
Okay.
Matter of fact, it's something that we encourage couples to agree on way before time. To say, in the event that we don't say eye to eye on a matter and it's affecting the peace in our relationship, can we agree on the people that we can reach out to? Matter of fact, if he wishes, let him choose
Yes.
who you should report the matter to, because oftentimes these things are kind of based on how somebody feels. The people that you're going to, whether they are really neutral in the conversation or not. So if he decides that you can go and see the people of his choice, well and good, pursue that route, because then it's also setting a foundation for more opportunities for you to seek counsel going forward.
Whilst we are there, what do you do if your man doesn't believe in mentorship?
Oh wow.
Like you're like, okay, I'd like for us to be accountable to someone.
Yeah.
I'd like for us to get mentored as a couple.
Yeah.
I was like, nope, I don't want to have anything to do with that. You know what I mean? And maybe when you have issues like that, you really don't have anywhere to go, because they really want you, the two of you, to sort them out.
Yeah. It's a difficult one. I have seen a couple of couples that have struggled with that, but thankfully, in the few instances that I've witnessed, you find that over time, the brother gets to appreciate the whole idea of being mentored. What I've noticed that has become helpful in those instances is where the brother begins to see the sister who's being mentored.
Oh wow, the benefits
of that mentorship process. And then he's like, I'm beginning to notice,
I'm appreciating,
that's it, I'm beginning to notice that
yes,
the way you talk to me now is more respectful and all of that good stuff. And the next minute, he's getting curious,
Yes,
can I open up? So it's really a matter of prayer. Pray about it. Continue floating the idea and the available opportunities. Do your research very well, so that as you are making recommendations, you're making recommendations on credible platforms where mentorship, proper mentorship is available. Set Apart International being one of them. I should believe that there are some churches out there that have some good mentorship programs going on. So you want to make your recommendations, pray for the brother, but live that exemplary life to show that the mentorship that you are receiving is actually adding value to you and making you a better person. Ultimately, the brother is going to warm up to the idea.
Okay, you said you used the word warm up. Like, how do you how do you do that without making the brother feel like you are just pushing it down their throat?
Yeah, so that's why I said gradually suggest over time. Don't push it too much. So if it becomes a contentious issue, leave it. But walk the walk and walk the talk, and eventually he will see the value and benefit of it.
Still on communication. How do you get to have consistent conversations? Because consistent conversations have proved hard.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that is that kind of a situation where I'm thinking if it's not what she means, then obviously she will inbox and will be able to clarify.
Yeah.
The situation where the brother doesn't have enough talk time.
Like me.
Like you and me, you know what I mean? Like I'm always like ba 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 ba, and you're like yep. Obviously, we talk, but you know what I mean. Like, but like how for a sister who needs a brother to, to converse with, with a brother, like what are some of the nuggets that you can give a sister to be able to, we love to talk, right?
Yeah.
So how?
It's a tricky one. I would suggest that perhaps you try and start focusing on his areas of interest. Maybe try and generate conversations from those things, because the truth of the matter is everybody is interested in something. It could be a handful, it could be a whole list. So a starting point would be for you to pay particular attention to the things that interest him the most. There's always that one thing that gives us the kicks. And you want to find out, show interest in that particular area, do a bit of some research around it.
Is it football?
Is it football? Is it basketball? Video games, whatever. So you want to show, basically use some reverse psychology there show as much interest as you can in the thing that is interested in the most, and perhaps that will open him up and get him to talk. I really don't have any dope answers for that particular one. Yeah, but if I were the guy,
maybe you can look in the camera and advise the sister.
If I were the guy in that particular instance, I'll be interested in you talking because every other time I'm quiet. I want my wife to talk because she's the one that's got the talk time. I don't got no talk time. I talk when it's necessary. She talks because she loves to talk. So if you got talk time,
I love to talk with you.
Yeah, if you got talk time, talk, my sister. Just, create them stories. The brother's gonna listen, alright?
Yeah, but if I want him to talk with me,
oh well, he will talk when it's necessary. So if he's not talking, do the talking.
All right. Yeah. So how do you, on communication, how do you keep a long distance relationship strong?
The $1 million question.
And for this one, I also would like for you to.
Point number 1. Pick out the book, Mastering the Dynamics of a Long Distance Relationships. There are a few nuggets in there. A couple of things from my personal experience. Long distance relationship with my wife, fiance, then long distance marriage, first year of marriage. A couple of things that worked.
I can't believe that we are apart for like the whole year.
The whole first year, yeah. And
my goodness.
yeah,
I can't believe.
Pretty rough, but yeah, we, by the grace of God, navigated through that season. A couple of things: you want to be deliberate about seizing every opportunity that you get to see each other and maximize on that. You want to invest in your methods of communication, the tools that are available around you, whether they are free tools or paid tools. What are some of the communication methods that work best for you? Okay, are you video calling each other? Are you texting each other? Are you voice noting each other? Whatever it is, try and dive into that as much as you can. It's an investment, so it's going to cost you a bit of money. So you want to make sure that every other time you are planning around how your communication is going to work. Other than that, you want to be deliberate about having big hats. Okay, you don't want to be all suspicious about what she's doing, what he's doing. That is going to give you a lot of sleepless nights because usually with the distance, there's all sorts of questions around. Okay, so right now if he's not calling me, what's keeping him busy? You try to call him.
Who is he calling?
You try to call him, his line is busy. You start getting all sorts of funny ideas around what he may be up to. So you want to invest in trusting each other. You want to believe as much as you can that you have solid intentions for the relationship. Matter of fact, it's something that you must constantly reaffirm each other. If it's the guy, he needs to constantly reaffirm his lady to say, listen, I may be away, but you are my business. As far as this area is concerned, you're the only one for me. I ain't going nowhere. Okay, same with you as the woman. You want to show that you are present. You want to show that you appreciate the different investments and the efforts that the brother is making, to try and constantly reach you, try and talk to you on a daily basis. You want to show that you appreciate the efforts that he is putting into the relationship. Great. So it's a two-way thing, and two can make it work. Okay,
great. Finally, we have a question, not that is the last one, on finances. It says, my question is, how can a couple work together, or rather balance up financially, even before marriage?
Okay, so this is another sticky conversation that must be had before marriage, because one of the reasons why a lot of marriages are in shambles is because so the issue of finances is something that must be dealt with before marriage, because a lot of marriage relationships are on the rocks because finances are a big problem in marriages, and if the communication around that is messed up, then it's very, very possible for the marriage to just be thrown into the gutter. So it becomes important for the conversation to be kick-started before you even get serious. So this also speaks into your value system. Different value systems. Some people are naturally just spendthrifts. Okay, every other time they receive something, it's already spent before it even gets into their wallet or into their account. Other people are obsessive savers. They do not want to spend a penny. They're just like, I am going to keep this money until I do my vacation to Dubai or something like that. So the value systems sometimes clash if you don't manage them too well. So you want to make sure that in the courtship season you're having conversations around, so what are your core values around finances. What do you love to do with do you believe in tithing? You know what I mean? There's some dudes out there and girls that do not tithe their 10% off of their income because they just don't feel the need to. They don't understand the spiritual instruction behind that. So those are conversations that you want to clear out before you actually get married. It's very important. And to get to your question, how do you manage these things? So have the conversation, seek some type of advice, from some financial gurus. And there are people out there that are willing to give you free advice around budgeting, basic budgeting techniques, just around investment opportunities, that you could pursue. A lot of people encourage, especially if you are in courtship, like you're planning for your wedding, they encourage you do joint accounts where you start saving your money upfront before the wedding comes up. But all of this is about communication, people. You need to talk about these things. You need to be open and honest about your fears, your expectations. Some ladies expect a man to send money for talk time, money for hair, manicure, pedicure, and all the other cures. Okay, and the brother is like, what, you think I am like a gold mine or something, moving ATM? You know what I mean? So all of those expectations need to be matched, so that at the end of the day, when money comes into the relationship, the brother brings his, the sister brings hers. It's being pointed towards the right direction that helps build the relationship, and ultimately will help build the marriage. It's something that you must be committed to learning and relearning as you're growing the relationship, because sometimes income levels will change. Somebody's income will shrink or even shrivel out of the scene, and you have one person only earning their income. How do you behave in such an environment? So it's something that must be constantly tackled, so that people are always on the right frame of mind.
Thank you very much. So it says, my question is, how best can you communicate with your partner when you are both seemingly busy? The situation is he has a job and most of the day he's in the office and only gets out at 19, and he has to get home by 20 and is free to text at 21.